All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is 4 p.m. West Coast time, and I'm remembering to turn the music on this time. All right, we have got ourselves 4 p.m. West Coast time, 1 p.m. Hawaii time, 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and 6 p.m. for our Central Time folk. It looks like we've got some Central Time folk in, and it looks like we have got Elaine in the house from Hawaii, which is fan-flippin-tastic. Hawaii is not doing so fan-flippin-tastic right now, but I'm hoping where Elaine is, she is better. We'll get into that topic in just a little bit, but right now, why don't we get the Chatter with Statter show started? All right then, let's do it. Boop. Okay, we are back. Rick is going to be K for just a little bit, and that is okay, Rick. Hopefully we can handle whatever it is that's coming down our way. Pussycat in the house. All right, so before we start talking about something that is not fun, I am going to talk to Pussycat about something that's a little bit fun, but not so much. So, Pussycat. Leo came in the other day. I mentioned last time I talked to you, I think, that he had a little limpy paw. His paw is fine, but now he's got something going on with his side, and I'm not quite sure what it is, but I'm keeping an eye on it, and so your boy, he's just being a boy out there, getting into rough and tumbles, but he's still surviving. So, there we have it. All right. Rick, I have my moderation screen up. Pussycat's here. I'll bet you Gina will wander in if she's not already here. So we definitely have the moderation bit covered. So if you have got things and stuffuses to do, go do your things and stuffuses. If you have a sporting event to watch, by all means, watch that sporting event. We've got Andre in the house. We've got Felicia in the house. And we've got people hanging out. So hopefully all of the everybody's is here. And see, I did not see Shock there. I didn't have my moderation view up right now. I just have it in the background. So we've got Shock as well. So we are fully equipped with the swords of no mercy and all of the mercies. All right. So yes, Andre, sad about what's going on in Maui, as is Elaine. So, I have been living under apparently an internet rock all of last night and today. And it wasn't probably until about 20 minutes ago that I had any clue what the flying fork was going on Maui. I was, trying to get the show together, the stream together, but I was also trying to learn a little bit about what is going on Maui. So, even though chatter by definition is stuff that doesn't really matter, we are maybe going to touch on this wildfire topic that's going on in Maui. I'm seeking some information here. Like, okay, so it sounds like there's multiple fires that are right basically near both of the tourist centers in Maui. Lahaina is like, what, devastated by the fire, like just been wiped out, and then the wildfire is sort of north of Kihei or something. Like, can someone help me can someone tell me what the flying fork is going on? How did these fires start? Was it lightning strikes? I mean, I understand that the wind is carrying the fire now, from the tropical storms, potential hurricanes, but what? So, okay, Elaine, Lahaina Front Street has burned down. That is just devastating. I mean, well, I guess, okay, now, obviously, Elaine, you don't know, but I still cannot help but, okay, the moment I hear Lahaina Front Street has burned down, my most immediate concern is, what about the banyan tree? Is the banyan tree okay? What about the banyan tree? I understand that I should be more concerned with human life And I'm sure real estate developers would really wish that I was more concerned with their real estate. I'm not. What about the banyan tree? The banyan is burnt. Fuck. Okay. It had to have been. If the whole entire front street is been burned down, it couldn't escape it. I knew that 911 was down. I did read that 6 are dead. People literally were jumping into the ocean to escape the fire. I mean, like, if that's not a flippin' nightmare come true right there. So I guess, yeah, I'm really sorry that I'm not, like, with this. This is a lot of information to process. Yeah, the media says that 6 souls are gone, precisely. So once again, though, I can't help but, right, and Rick, the harbor and the boats got burnt too. So, I mean, I know you guys don't know, but is there any word on, like, what is it that caused these fires? I mean, obviously we've got 2 very different fires going on here. One of them super close to town, in town, which leads me to ponder, was it a man-made, did someone accidentally set their kitchen on fire? Did Mrs. O'Reilly's cow kick over the kerosene lantern in the barn? Was it a human-caused event versus a lightning strike event? And so, right, exactly, Shock. That's what I was reading in this tiny bit that I was able to glean. This one guy escaped Lahaina and then went to a different area up country and ended up having to evacuate there as well. And yeah, Pussycat, the wind is blowing at 45 to 50 from the hurricane and fanning the flames. Totally. And I understand that that's how it's spreading because, the fires spread and then, the embers fly and things start. But Kihei and Lahaina are 2 very different areas. They are far, far, far apart. Upcountry, very different area than where Kihei is, where Lahaina is, and then upcountry. So 3 of these wildfires are all happening right now. And I just can't help but, like, the upcountry one, probably a lightning strike, I'm guessing, and lightning starts fires. But okay, so Pussycat, so far it seems like no idea how it happened. Andre, yeah, the winds from the hurricane are definitely what's fueling it at this point. All right, so let me, as I was babbling silently in my head or something, people have been posting, so let's see here. Pussycat, I don't think any other islands are on fire the way Maui is. There is a wildfire on Hawaii Island right now, but I don't think that the fire on Hawaii Island is anywhere near large, severe, threatening, dangerous as the fires in Maui are. Because, I mean, 2 of the 3 fires in Maui are directly in proximity to the major tourist hubs of Lahaina and Kihei, but upcountry is kind of a tourist attraction in and of itself as well. So, there's literally fires. Every place the tourists are, it is on fire in Maui. That's a bit of a problem. And so, let's see here. So yeah, it's the hurricane, and okay, so Felicia's coming in. They showed 3 fires. And a Shock coming in. Maui Strong Fund is there and was suggested by your friend from Lahaina as a possible donation target. Okay. And let's see here. Elaine, the Kohala fire is still burning. Most of the fires that spontaneously start, then the sparks get blown around and start new fires. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it really is classic wildfire spreading technique. They have fires on the Big Island in Kohala. Yeah. And yeah, the airport is closed, sheltering people. So let's see here. Heartbreak Moon, first time chatter, absolutely serving face and radiating badassery, queen. Looking and sounding great, sis. Keep it up. Well, Heartbreak Moon, I don't know who the heck you are, but come on to the chatterbox. I am Mad Statter, and with flattery like that, it'll get you everywhere. Right now, though, well, normally, I don't know if you've hung out here very much, Heartbreak Moon. Normally, we talk about things and stuff of very little consequence. But today, we are talking, at the moment, at least, we're talking about the wildfires that are happening in the state of Hawaii, specifically on the island of Maui. We do have a lot of Hawaiian-oriented and interested people here in this chat stream, and so these fires are coming as devastating news to those of us who know people on the islands, who have visited the islands ourselves, who consider the islands treasured spots in our hearts, and so that, unfortunately, is the unfun topic that we're discussing at the moment. Hopefully the chatter will scatter at the wind, and it will turn into a more funner topic later on in this stream. But super stoked you're here, and thank you so much for the follow. So Pussycat coming in, yeah, Maui seems to be getting the worst, and Felicia, that's what I keep reading. Lahaina is mostly gone. I can't even wrap my brain around that. That Lahaina is such an important historical town. There was so much history there. Front Street alone, oh my gosh, and so, yeah, shock. I saw that Kavika marked himself safe, and I'm very glad that he marked himself safe. That being said, I can't help but wonder, is he going to be safe for long? I mean, where is safe on Maui Island, right? And Andre, thank you so much for those 300 biddies. Those 300 biddies might most likely be donated to the Hawaii Community Foundation org. Maui Strong. Shock has that link up there if you want to maybe throw some money to that Maui fund. And yeah, Lahaina was the first capital of the United Hawaiian Kingdom. Lahaina was a major, I'm not that I'm a big fan of the whaling industry, but back in the day, the whaling industry was basically the oil industry. And Lahaina was like Houston, Texas, the center of the oil industry, the center of the whaling industry. I mean, it was an important town. And to hear that this historic, if you have never been to Lahaina, it was just quaint. I mean, okay, first off, super overrun with tourists. Okay, we're not talking about the hassles that come with tourism, because here's the deal. I was a tourist as well, so there you go. But as far as the real estate, the buildings, the structure, the city, the layout, so many old historic buildings were still there, and now it sounds like they are not. And, no matter what Lahaina ends up doing to repair and recover from this, it's literally not ever gonna, you can't repair some of that, you just can't. And Shock, it's really too bad that you didn't go into town, because the town is very cute, and there is a lot of history in that town. Sure, it's touristy, but, areas are touristy for a reason sometimes. And, staying off the beaten path certainly is a wonderful thing to do for the vast majority of a vacation, but sometimes it's fun to, go to a place and that, everybody's been there, and then you can just be like, oh yeah, I've been there too. Like that banyan tree, the banyan tree on Front Street. If you've been down Front Street, you know about the banyan tree. And so it's sort of a collective experience, as it were, if that makes any sense. And yeah, Pussycat, she's in shock. I am too. I just, you honeymooned in Maui. Right. I just am, Maui is not one of my favorite islands, actually. My mom's ashes were spread there. She wanted to retire there. Didn't get a chance to retire there, so the best we could do was spread her ashes there. And so I have some love for Maui deep in my heart. It's not one of my favorite islands, oddly enough, but still, just because there are so many awesome islands in Hawaii. This hit me in a way that I did not really expect. And yeah, Andre, you've not been back to Maui in decades, but I saw it as a kid, and I guess that's gonna have to stay with me, because what you knew is now gone. Yeah, exactly. I mean, oh gosh, it's just stomach wrenching and awful, and just what a sad day. And yeah, you expect most of the people are insured, but in the short term they're going to need help. Well, without a doubt. But honestly though, I don't care if they're insured or not. It's even if they rebuild, it's going to be a rebuild. It's not going to be the same. They're not going to be able to rebuild it with the same. They're not going to be able to rebuild it with the same, because the type of old wood is no longer available. Building codes very different now than they were back then. And so as far as like all the business owners and real estate owners or whatever, like, they're really the least of my worries. It's more the actual, it's the real estate, that the building that I'm feeling the loss for. But yeah, most people, because Lahaina is more than just a tourist town. Lahaina is an actual town. People live there. And the people who live there, for the most part, are probably service industry workers who work in the Lahaina town. And service industry workers, as we know, do not make a fork ton of money. And when you don't make a fork ton of money, sometimes you don't have the insurance coverage you need. Sometimes you don't have insurance coverage at all. So, they're definitely, people are going to need to, there's going to be a lot of locals who need a lot of help. And let's see here, Felicia, National Guard activated, Salvation Army set up for donations at Oahu. Okay, right. Pussycat, you stayed in Ka'anapali. Yeah, so did I, and went to Haleakala and Hanatown. Yeah, I didn't make it to Hanatown, but my mom is up on Haleakala, so yep. And let's see here. And Shock, yeah, so it's going to take a bunch of tourist draw out of Lahaina for quite some time, yes, and it will lower property values, so I guess maybe it's not going to lower property values. I'm sorry, it's not. I don't know how. Nothing in Hawaii will ever lower property values. It seems like it's always going to be too expensive. But you're right, though, actually. It very well might lower property values, which may or may not be a good thing. Who's to say? And let's see here. Andre, yeah, Maui not your favorite island, but good memories of it at the Pioneer Hotel in the Haleakala looking at the sunrise. Right. Exactly, dude. I mean, it's a great island. It's just there's other ones that, in my opinion, are greater. For instance, Kauai. But that's just me. But right, exactly, Andre. Just because they're not your favorite, they're like your relatives. The Hawaiian Islands are like family, and so you love them all. And yeah, Pussycat, electricity is out, 911 is down. The landlines, for the most part, are only working very local, in local spots, but not long distance. And so, yeah, and I'm glad that the tourists are told to stay away. I mean, I really hope that everybody who is planning on going to Maui in the next month has the wherewithal to just be like, maybe now is not the time. Because it sounds like the tiny bit that I was able to read before this stream started, the governor has very specifically asked people, yeah, don't come. Maui's not a safe place. Do not come. Just do not. Yeah, the airport is closed. Honestly, though, I honestly wonder, because there is a ferry from... Oh, shite. What I was about to say is, I wonder if they're going to start scooching people to Molokai or Lanai, excuse me, because they've actually got ferries from Maui to those islands, you know? But the ferry leaves out of Lahaina, and so is the dock still there? Oh, right, is the dock still there? And see Honda coming in. Yeah, exactly. Today is a very sad day. And Andre, here we go. Oh no, how is Molokai going to get food? Don't they get it from Maui? Well, they certainly get it shipped from somewhere, and Maui is the largest, closest island to them. Obviously, if they have to ship out of Oahu, they can, I guess. But yes, I can only assume, right, that this is that there will be there will be other problems further down the road as the domino effects of this horrific tragedy start to become more clear. Because, you know, if Lahaina town is completely decimated and the harbor was burned and the boats in the harbor were burned, then it seems safe to assume at this point that there are limited docks that are going to be able to function, and depending upon where the dock is located, not every boat can hook up to every dock, right? You know, so and Andre, this is why the locals in Molokai are fighting for more food independence in case of emergencies. Actually, I think all of the islands are striving for more food independence, not just Molokai. But yes, this is a perfectly horrible example of what food insecurity can have, a consequence of food insecurity. You know, so people on Molokai suddenly, I mean, their food's gonna, I guess, get airported in, or I mean, probably shipped from Oahu, I guess, because, you know, from the west end of Molokai, you can see Honolulu, so it's, I mean, it's not that far. It's far, but anyway, I had been wondering if they were going to maybe shelter some people on Molokai, but now it's like, well, I don't even know if they'll be able to get to Molokai, so maybe that's not even an option. And so, yeah, I bet Molokai got hit really hard during the lockdown. Lono managed to survive it, luckily, but then again, Lono's got probably more money than the average person on Molokai. No, that's not true. There's a lot of money on Molokai. There's a lot of money on Molokai now that I think about it. Okay, so Lono's got more money than some of the people on Molokai. And Darlene, no, go talk to your younger sister. We are going to be here for another hour, and then we can catch you later on the Daily Pigeon if need be. So you go talk to your sister. And yeah, Pussycat, seriously, I mean, this is probably as close to an apocalypse type situation that Maui could ever be facing, and good Lord, why did I just tempt the fates with that statement by saying it out loud? Yeah, gosh, guys. All right, so, okay. This is kind of a downer, you guys. Like, this was not supposed to be a downer topic. No, that's not true. This topic was never meant to be good. But this chat show was not meant to be such a downer. But alas, sometimes you have to acknowledge the apocalypse that's taking place right before your very eyes. So what we're gonna do now, it's a little bit early. I know, it's a little bit early, but we didn't do it last time. So we're gonna just sneak it in early today. Pussycat, even if I had the money, I still wouldn't move to Molokai out of respect. I kind of feel the same way, actually. As much as I want to go visit there one day, I honestly feel, unless I specifically have an invitation from a local that lives there, I really don't need to set foot on that island, unless someone specifically says, we would like you to come here and visit. But outside of that, I don't really know if I would be comfortable setting foot on that island out of respect, not out of fear or anything like that. I mean, that's a locals only island. Not quite as locals only as Niihau, but still, it's a locals only kind of place. And let's see here. See, Honda News said it was the worst natural disaster in 30 years. But what was the previous disaster? And yeah, how much worse could it have gotten? I can only assume, see, Honda, what the next worst previous the bad thing that happened 30 years ago, natural disaster. There we go. I'm assuming what, a hurricane, I guess, or a what is it? A hurricane, cyclone, whatever, Hurricane Aniki. Yeah, but even still, did Hurricane Aniki like take out an entire flippin' town? Did it threaten 2 entire towns? I don't know. Let's see here. Oops, hold on. So, Andre, man, I remember here in Oakland, we had a great hill fire, and I remember how scared I was, I bet. And, let's see here, and how it was going to take out the city and your house as well. Wildfires near urban areas are so scary because they can trap you so fast in streets and stuff. Absolutely, dude. And so, let's see here. So yeah, okay, so Hurricane Aniki did mess up Kauai, but still did it take out 2 entire towns. And yeah, see, Honda, you know, I don't even want to read what you wrote. 150-year-old banyan tree burnt down. I hoped that it just got burnt a little. I knew it got burnt down. That sucks. That tree was magical. For those who've never experienced it, it was magical. Hurricane Aniki took out the whole island of Kauai for years. Okay, all right. Well, the whole island is bigger than just 2 cities. All right. I'll give it that. And let's see here. Yeah, Pussycat, where you live, you must be surrounded by nothing but huge money on the coast of Florida there. So yeah, I'm sure you live near some pretty amazing houses. In fact, you've lived in your house, I think, what, so long? Didn't you grow up in it? That your house is probably just as like, I'm just a little kid in the middle of all these fancy houses, but I've been here the longest. I'm just a little house with a yard. That's how I envision your house in comparison to all your neighbors' houses. I'm just a house. I'm just a good house. I've been here for a while. I'm a house. As opposed to the McMansions that are right next to ya. And let's see here. Yes, Rick, how about Maui? Yeah, me too. And the banyan tree. And trying not to cry too hard on stream because as a semi-menopausal woman, I cry way too much on this stream. But whatever. It's my age. It's my age. We're just going to blame it on my age. And, all right, so what I think we're going to do, even though it's not quite our usual time for it, we're going to take a Lono listening break. We're going to revamp. We're going to come back and we're going to, I don't know, talk about, I don't know. We'll talk about nail polish or something. All right, so let's go to our Lono listening break. Boop.
This is the first time that I've seen you.
Alright, so it looks like we are talking about folks that we know of on Maui that have checked in and that have not checked in. So, Kavika checked in, is marked as safe. Kenny still missing in action. Kenny probably on the continental United States on his annual Sturgis road trip. Awesome. However, how horrifying, right? So, you're away from your house, your island is on fire, you have no idea if your home is gonna be there when you come home. I really hope that Kenny does not have any pets. Wow, yeah, so, wow, alright then. So, let's maybe try and switch gears a little bit. It's very difficult because this really is weighing heavy on my heart. But let's talk about that last Lono song for a minute. That was This Night Rainbow. And Lono talked about that a little bit when he was on his Daily Pigeon Live interview with Andy Bumatai. And the night rainbow is a rainbow that you can see. It is a rainbow that is that is lit by the light of the full moon during the right conditions. And it's a certain shade of gray, basically, different shades of gray. But then there's a different night rainbow as well, and that is the one with the night rainbow colors. And only the kahunas are allowed to see that rainbow, and Lono has actually seen it on more than one occasion, and definitely definitely wrote a beautiful song about it. And so, there you had it. That is that song, and it is available, that version of that song, because there are 3 different versions of that song that Lono has. That version of that song is available on the latest release that you can get at LonoMusic.com. It is the When Ancestors Speak album from the Lono's Molokai Eevee Band. And so if you are interested in purchasing the album, you just want to go to LonoMusic.com and you can get that download. It is all of the liner notes and lyrics and chords, etc. are included with that download, so you can sing along, play along, or just learn a little bit more about what each song is about. And let's see here. Andre, you're looking at an old photo album to find if they have any pictures of kid time in Maui. Right. Yep, exactly. And so, Pacola T, you saw Kavika post yesterday that he's playing solo at Nalu's this week. Yeah, you're right. I saw that too. So, and I do, yeah, I seem to remember, Kenny mentioning he would be on the continental U.S. during this time, because he, might, like at the end of Kenny's trip, he's going to be in Washington State, I think the same time that Andy and James and Augie are going to be in Renton doing their show. And so there's a chance that Kenny might actually come to the show in Renton. And so, yeah, I really, really think that he is on the continental United States right now. And Andre, is Nalu's in the fire area? Well, it's in Kihei, and one of the fires is like just outside of Kihei. So is it in the fire area? No. Is it maybe could be? Maybe. I don't think it is. I don't think Kihei proper is on fire yet, but I also think that they aren't saying that Kihei is safe. Lahaina is just decimated, but there's 3 wildfires, and coincidentally 2 of them happen to be very close to the tourist hubs. So yeah, who knows? Now I wouldn't be surprised if there are a couple people who would be very happy to see Kihei burn down, and bring it back to the small town that it used to be, but we know that that's not going to happen. And, let's see here. Pussycat, there's a church in town by the harbor. You wonder if it's still there. I'm assuming you mean Lahaina? And, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And, cause it sounds like the harbor, Rick was saying that the harbor was burned. The boats in the harbor were burned. So, well, and Pacola T, we're still on red flag alert on Oahu because of the dry areas like Waianae. Right, yeah. Yeah, so, no smoking cigarettes, no smoking pakalolo, no nothing, not outside at least. You guys, be carefuls. I am just so, I don't know why it matters to me, because it really shouldn't, but I'm just very curious what started at least the Lahaina fire. That's the one that seemed to be so out of control, or really was the most out of control. Okay, Pussycat, you're looking at a picture of Lahaina, and you see a church in the background of the picture. Hopefully it's a recent picture, so you're not looking at a picture of the past. Hopefully that is a current. And hey there, Chris Kenmotsu. We're doing okay. It's a little bit of a sad day here. We're talking about the things that are going on Maui right now, and so we're as good as can get. In case you haven't heard, there's several wildfires that are happening on Maui as we speak, and Lahaina is kind of burned down. We're not sure just how burned down, but we know the old banyan tree on Front Street is gone, and Front Street is gone, and e-music coming in. The historic Viola Church burned down, so yeah, Pussycat, it might not be there anymore. Yeah, very devastating. And so while we are trying to have a lovely day on the stream, admittedly, it's a little blue. It's a little bit of a downer. Hey there, Yeti Dub. Good to see you. First time chat. I am Mad Statter, and now you are part of the Statterbox crew for coming in with a chat. Welcome in. Good to see you. Let's see here. Pecola T, wind gusts over 60 miles an hour. Some as high as 80 on Maui. Pretty sure way to knock down electrical poles and stuff. Oh. You think an electrical pole might have gotten boop-a-dooped and then a spark caused the boop-a-doop. That totally makes sense for a city-oriented blaze to be happening. Okay. I mean, obviously, conjecture here. We don't know. We don't know. Okay. And Yeti Dub, thank you so much. Yes, it's my little surfboard background. Because if I didn't have my background up, you'd see into my kitchen and into my backyard. So I gotta have my little background there. I'm glad you like it. And before you ask, oh no, I cannot surf. No. I can body surf, I can float, but yeah, no. And Andre, yeah, that's how the really bad wildfires in California happen, like in Paradise. Totally. And yeah, Yeti Dub, Pecola T's got a great question. Where are you listening in from? I'm coming out of Seattle, and Pecola T's coming out of Hawaii. All right, you're on the West Coast as well. West Coast is best coast. That's how it is. And, right, yeah, Chris, you're right. That's what happened in Northern California, the power lines caused. And so, yeah, I just really hope that, I really hope they get them under control. And, Yeti Dub, cool, Washington as well. Awesome. Awesome. I don't know if you're Eastern Washington or Western Washington, but if you're Western Washington, today is just a beautiful day in Western Washington. Probably one of the most perfect days ever because it's like 75 degrees with a beautiful breeze. And that, my friends, is ideal weather. Speaking of ideal weather, nice segue there, right? A couple weeks ago, as I'm sure you heard me talk about, Muckleshoot hosted a paddle event where tribes from all over the West Coast, not all over the West Coast, but you'd be surprised at where they came from. Tribes from Alaska, tribes from Canada, tribes from the coast of Washington, tribes from the Columbia River Valley and Oregon, tribes from Northern California and Southern California made it to the paddle at Muckleshoot the year 2022, and no, 2023. We're in 2023. Durr. And so, I wanted to show you, as soon as I can find it, I wanted to show you some really cool drone footage of the event. And, let's see if we can do this here. So, I don't know if this will work, but let's find out. We're gonna try. Boop. All right, so I would have been talking through that, except for I realized that I didn't have my mic connected for that scene. So that was a little drone rotation of not all. That was just a very, very, very beginning. That was just the first set of canoes that came in on that paddle. The beach that was not even close to how swollen that beach was with people. An estimated 11,000 people came to that event, which for Alki Beach was very, very crowded. Abso-flippin'-lutely. And Andre coming in, hey, I saw Travis Thompson being called a Southern Seattle rapper. In Burien, is Burien South Seattle? When I think of Southern Seattle, you think Rainier Beach, not Burien, although I'm not from there, so what do I know? Well, Andre, traditionally speaking, South Seattle is 1000% Rainier Beach. That is, yes. And like the CD, Beacon Hill, the Central District, by the way, Beacon Hill, that is all considered South Seattle. But, and traditionally, that is what we would refer to as South Seattle. Burien, on the other hand, first off, isn't in Seattle the way those other areas are. But Burien does butt up against Southwest Seattle. And as you know from spending plenty time on the High Line, West Seattle, White Center, and Burien kind of blend into one thing. And so, from a very loose perspective, Burien could be considered South Seattle. And I say that because musicians never really get acknowledged for where they're from. Nirvana was considered a Seattle band. They were not. They were an Olympia band. Olympia is an hour away from Seattle. Alice in Chains was considered a Seattle band. Technically, they were from Burien, oddly enough. In fact, the original bass player, Mike Starr, I go drinking with his mom almost once a week at the local bar. Everybody from Alice in Chains was actually from Burien. So, you know, I will give Travis Thompson, I will allow the media to portray him as from South Seattle. However, I would not be surprised if Travis Thompson takes it upon himself to make it very clear, oh no, Burien representing, not South Seattle. Because we are a separate town, technically speaking. And, by the way, speaking of Travis Thompson, for those of you who don't know who Andre and I are talking about, Travis Thompson is a Burien-based rapper. He's a hip-hop performer who has been slowly making his way up into the realm of the famous for the last couple years. His music has been featured on Reservation Dogs at least twice. I know that last week, one of the episodes, I think it was the very first, the season 3, episode 1, I believe it was that episode that ended with a Travis Thompson song. Travis Thompson has actually been in an episode of Reservation Dogs, and there is talk that his character might come back again. Either way, Travis Thompson, definitely a Burien boy that all of us local Burien people are super, super proud of, basically. He's just like, he's the cutest little native boy. He's from Navajo Nation, which how he ended up here in the Pacific Northwest, I don't quite know. But he identifies as Navajo and I think there's one other tribe that he identifies with, none of which is a local tribe, but it doesn't matter. We don't care. I don't care. And I'm sure that the local indigenous population doesn't care either. He is repping the Indian way. He is repping the native way. He is full on Native American rapping, and it is awesome. I love him so much. And so, let's see here. What did I miss while I was talking about Travis Thompson? And, yes, Darlene, mostly K, no worry. Got another call from the youngest. Well, yeah, you got to talk to your daughter. My goodness. And let's see here. Oh, awesome. Hey, Yeti Dub, I just noticed that you followed. Thank you so much for that follow. I'm a little bit behind the times there. And, so, Bacola T, I don't have a map, up. Hold on. No, Bacola T, I don't have a map. I don't have a map for that. So, perhaps after I show a different video, I can go find a map. And let's see here. So, right, everybody's talking about the, you know, what is called what. So, yeah, much of Rockville calls itself North Bethesda. Not. And, Andre just picked up Travis's new album yesterday, where Travis mentions Zippy Burger in one of his songs. Doesn't surprise me at all. And for those of you who've been around the Shatter with Statter universe for a little while, you know I love myself a good Zippy Burger, but you also know that Zippy's doesn't exist anymore. But we have definitely talked about Zippy's before here on this channel. And so let's see here. Andre gifting a sub to Coffee Person. Excellent. Thank you so much, Andre, for that gifted. And let's see here. Yes, Rick, right now map statter is map. Well, that's not true. I have a map. Don't get me wrong. I can always pull up a map. Here. I got you think I'm map-less? Oh no, I got myself a map. It's just not the map that I need. In fact, I got myself another map. Look at this other map. I got myself another map. I got maps. They're just not the maps that I need right now. They just aren't not the right map up my right sleeve. And so, let's see here. And Pacola T, our zip code says to Shock, our zip code was CC. I don't know what that means, but it must be an abbreviation for something. But we didn't want to be high Maka Maka, so we said you live Bethesda. Oh, Chevy Chase is the CC. Gotcha. And Andre, you missed the Blackberry Shake from Zippy's. Well, the Blackberry Shake from Zippy's was only available during certain times of the year. However, if you decide to come back to this area, there is a hamburger joint that I'm sure you noticed. It's called Smokies. It's on 1st and 128th, and they have shakes as well. And they have a blackberry shake all year round, and it's very delicious. They also have a pineapple shake all year round, also very delicious. So, if you end up in this area one more time, Smokies might be able to give you that blackberry shake. And, let's see here. Yes, Darlene, you've been addressing me as map statter lately. It fits. It really does, you know. Sometimes I am mad, and when I say mad, do you mean loco or angry? Depends on the day. But other times, I'm just mappy, and that makes me happy, because I love little maps. Alright, so, speaking of maps, I did have a map, and, let's see here. Andre, yes, you stayed like 3 blocks from 128th when you were there in June. Of course you saw that place. Of course you did. I knew you did. You couldn't not see that place. And so, if you haven't tried it, you really should try it, because they do have a good burger. It's a really good, I mean, it's not anything, it is nothing like a Zippy's burger, but it is a really good burger. And, Huzzycat, you went to the same high school as Greg and Dwayne Allman did. Interesting. And yes, Andre, you would have seen it the year before as well. I believe that Smokies has been there, I think since the 80s. And then before it was Smokies, it was, it was a Icy Freeze, or it was some chain. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but it was some chain that had a blue logo and a polar bear, I think. But yeah, that's been around since forever. The Tasty Freeze, thank you, Tasty Freeze. That's exactly, thank you, Shock. It used to be a Tasty Freeze, but now it's a Smokies. And let's see here. And Andre, you did check out Sister's Coffee across the street from Smokies. You do like their coffee. It was the last coffee you got in Burien before you left for the airport. Fair enough, fair enough. Fun fact, Sister's Coffee that you went to, their original stand was in the parking lot of Smokies. You couldn't drive through, you had to park and walk up. And the reason why their stand started at the Smokies parking lot is because the sisters that started the stand both used to work for Smokies. So, talk about a local connection. Now you got it. Now you got the background, the info. Let's see here. Chalk, you lost the Silver Spring Tasty Diner a few months ago. Got it. Yeah, it's a bummer sometimes when you get the tasty things that go away. I know. And Darlene, 3 sides of my house are completely painted. My backyard is still not painted yet, but that is because my painter is out of town. When he gets back into town from Montana, where he's visiting his family, he will finish my back. I'm not that worried about it because the backyard was the best condition. It's really, the backside of my house is the most sheltered from the wind, the direction of the weather and the wind. So it's sort of in the best condition. And then also nobody can see it from the street. So as far as the street is concerned, everybody thinks that my house is freshly painted and done. It looks great from the street. But you and I and a couple other people on the interwebs, we know the truth. It's not done yet. And it does look a lot better, actually. You know, I hadn't really realized how janky it looked until it looked better. And it does. It does look a lot better. In fact, actually, this is silly. I don't know what this says about me. But I like to feel the fresh paint on the side of my house now. It feels so silky and painty, as opposed to the dry wood that it felt like before it got repainted. And let's see here. Oh wow, Pacola T's telling Shock the Bethesda Tasty Diner was the only place open for food during Snowmageddon. Diner manager rented hotel rooms for staff so they didn't have to make dangerous trip home and back. You know, when I worked, yep, that's it. That's the story. When I worked at the Bowling Alley Diner Cafe when I was in high school, they actually had a couple bedrooms upstairs above the restaurant. And during dangerous weather events, staff would stay up there so they could keep the restaurant open and not have to go home. So let's see here. Darlene, once done, I could share an after picture if can. Oh, I definitely can do that. And Andre, you might be right. Mad Statter calms down by petting her newly painted house and listens for its purr. Well, all right, I might not listen for its purr, but I do paint it. Or not paint it, I do pet it. All right, you guys. So, let's see here. I wanted to share with you. I know, I've been obsessed with the Muckleshoot Paddle for months now. I know, and you guys are probably tired of it. And you know what? I don't care. I'm going to show you a video that I made. It's not the video that I'm making. It's part of the video I'm making. But I stole this footage from the Tla'amin, tribe. What? The Tla'amin Nation. They're located up at the northern end of the Salish Sea. Do you see that little red dot up there? That's the Tla'amin Nation. And they are a First Nations people out of Canada. And they made their trip to paddle all the way down to Muckleshoot. You can see Seattle in this map. That is where they paddled to. So they paddled from the big red dot, or the little red dot, whatever, all the way down to Seattle. I think it took them about 11 days, right? All right, so They posted a half-hour long video of their approach to Alki on the day that they arrived at Alki. I took out most of that video and have sliced it and compressed it into a 6.5 minute long video. It was originally 30 minutes, now it's 6.5 minutes. So, hold on, Mr. Piccola T is trying on new glasses. Gotta give your opinion, that's right. So sign off, Piccola T, and you be safe as well. Alright, so, I would like to share with you, this video was not taken by me. I cannot make that any more clear. This video is stolen from the Tla'amin Nation. By the way, I am going to be reaching out to them and forwarding all of my work, both this edited version and the longer video that I'm making, because I don't really want to be another white person just stealing from the indigenous populations, right? Right. That's what it boils down to. But I did create this, and I wanted to share with you guys because it's it gives a great perspective on like what it was like to come to the beach that day. And how did they fit all the canoes on Alki? Dude, it was canoe parking only, and you will see just how crowded it is. So, let's just watch this little video for a quick 6 minutes, and it'll give us some perspective on what it was like to paddle into Alki. Uh-oh.
Couple more hard pulls, Otakin. Good job. Couple more hard pulls.
Ha'a, Sa'a, Chalice, Moas, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
And paddles up.
We're here, 4 years old. Keep it down, everybody into the mic. Hopefully you do. We travel in K-State, Ujjain,
Ailey, Thompson, Ailey, left it out lake. We will sing, we will dance, and we will be together. God love us,
We go on the light when it's lighter. And it's darker.
Paddles up.
Just trying to see how many times you can just say it.
Iman.
We are truly blessed to be out here on your shores today. We are honored. We are honored and blessed with the skies. The temperature that it was a beautiful ride over here. The sun truly blessed us, kissed our skin, left us with a nice blaze. Got me looking like Auntie's Krispy Kreme addiction, new Krispy Kreme addiction. Anyways, we paddled here, we paddled along on these waters. We faced trials, and we paddled through them. We faced tribulations on land, and we come together and work through it, come out stronger together. As a young skipper, I was tasked with one job. That was to get this crew here, this landing, safe and sound. And as you can see, they have most of their hands and feet fingers still. Greetings, our dear friends and relatives. We are the Tla'amin people. We travel here in our 3 canoes with our youth and our elders. We're so happy to be here in your territory. We have many of our people that have moved down here and reside in your territory. We have been on the water for 11 days. We come from Tla'amin. I'm going to pass the mic over to our other 2 skippers so we can ask permission to come ashore together.
Just a little bit. Thank you. Allah Chas Bailey. Allah Chas Arka. Allah Chas Ansarale. We will sing, we will dance, and we will eat together. Swallow please Tesla. Please don't yell off you. Please bless us to laugh fun, talk real fun. Come to shore now, and we will enjoy visiting one another.
Paddles up.
All right, so like I said, that was actually part of a much longer video, half an hour video. And what that means is I cut out a lot of waiting because there was a lot of waiting right before, waiting for the other tribes that had gotten in line before them to identify themselves, ask permission to come to shore. Then they had their permission granted, and so then those canoes would leave and go paddle. And so there was quite a ton, there we go, of canoes waiting to just ask that permission. It took that tribe about a half an hour from first approach to shore to, to final landing. It took about, 20, 25 minutes of waiting in line to then go through the protocol of asking if they could come ashore. And Andre, it is super amazing how it was all organized to make it happen. And one of the greatest things about it was, and in the longer video that I'm hoping to make, I'm making it. It's just, I've never made making a video is kind of hard. I've never done a project like this, and so I'm really having a hard time wrapping my head around how to approach it, but that's just excuses. Anyway, hopefully once this silly video that I'm trying to make gets done, you will probably have heard, 20 or 30 different languages in that video. Because all of these tribes speak a different dialect. Some of them speak a completely different language. The languages aren't always even related or part of the same language family. So there are, like I said, so many different cultures that are converging here, and I would like to make clear, even though I'm sure it hasn't hit anybody's brain, but the way it hit mine, a few streams ago, I referred to this gathering. Oh, excuse me. I referred to the event that took place after the landing on the beach. All of the celebrations and ceremonies were then moved up to inland, up to the Muckleshoot Tribal Center, which is several, like 20 miles away from the beach, right? I referred to the event that was taking place on land as a powwow. That is not the case, and I apologize for misusing that word. In fact, it's similar to a powwow. However, powwow apparently, from what I have gathered and learned in my research of this, that is a modern tradition. This paddle is not modern. This is the old ways. The old ways. The powwow is a reinvention of the old ways. This paddle was intended to bring a return to the old ways. So it's not apparently the same thing as a powwow. It's a protocol ceremony, and the protocol ceremony is each tribe gets 2 hours to sing, dance, tell their stories, share their songs, share their culture, and it's apparently not the same thing as a powwow. I don't know exactly the subtle differences and why one would be one would be t'other. From what I understand, and anybody who knows better than me on this, please come in and correct this. But from what I understand, powwow different than protocol. What happened at Muckleshoot was protocol. And I wish that I could bring greater understanding, but I don't have that greater understanding. So just a little thing there. And let's see here. Darlene, So True Matt Setter just said Photo Luke. He says it's a lot of work that the average person doesn't see. Totally. Yeah. Photo Luck, Photo Luke. I knew what you meant. And yes, exactly, Andre. It's very hard to make this video because I really want to be respectful, but I'm coming at it from a perspective of a lot of ignorance, which means I am going to inadvertently be disrespectful on accident. And I know that intention makes a difference, and when it comes to forgiving accidents, but I'm trying my best not to offend anybody, not to inadvertently make a rude reference or inference, and so I am definitely being very mindful in this creation, and I will admit I am being so mindful of this creation that I am kind of going against my own creed, which is don't let perfection get in the way of doing something. Even if it's not perfect, show it off. Right? You know, this guy, come on, you guys. You know that's what this is about. That's what this entire channel is about. And I need to keep reminding myself of that with this video that I'm very much struggling with. I suppose I shouldn't even be talking about the video. You know, don't talk about things you're gonna do. Talk about things you've done. But if I don't keep talking about it, I might just let it go. And I don't want to do that because I have done a little bit of work already. And anyway, whatever. That is, so one day, if we're all lucky, this video that I've been talking about for the last 18 months, okay, not really, it's not even been 18 days, but whatever, the video I've been talking about for the last week and a half will eventually happen. I've got an outline for it now, so I'm almost ready to start putting it together, and by the way, you guys, I don't know what just made me think of this, but I have had a couple people who on my YouTube page, there is a little, you can donate here, a little PayPal donation thing. I've had a couple different viewers donate very generously to Statterbox at the Cinema, and I don't know if these people want to be recognized publicly, so I'm going to refrain from saying their names, but the people are all here in the chat right now, and I do want to thank all of you for the generous donations that you've made off of that page. And if anybody else wants to donate to help get this, help get more better equipment, etc. for Chatter with Statter, by all means, feel free. But you know what? You don't have to do that. Really, what we'd like to do is subscribes, follows, likes, etc. It's a long way from now, but one day I would like to hit 1,000. This is so sad and tiny, but you know, we all start small. I would like to hit 1,000 YouTube followers at some point in the career, because you see, once you hit 1,000, then you can actually monetize your YouTube, which means I actually can get some ad revenue from all the ads that they force you to watch when you're watching things and stuff. So, it doesn't have to cost you no monies if you want to subscribe or follow on YouTube. And so feel free, if you haven't subscribed or followed on YouTube, I don't remember what it's called right now, so I'm not going to tell you, but you know, it's that button. Click it. And so that is very much appreciated. However, if you do want to send money to the channel so we can get more better cameras, more better lightings, that works too. But like I said, there are tons of ways to support this channel, and the likes and subscribes are 1000% awesome. But what's even better than the likes and subscribes is people coming to this channel to hang out and chatter. Because you can't have a chatter show unless you got chatterers to chatter with. So, let's see here. Darlene being all supportive. You learn more and more as you get more experienced. Look how far I've come already compared to where I started. Yes, Darlene, actually, on my Facebook feed, I had a memory come up from a couple years ago talking about some pretty basic technology that I now take my knowledge of it for granted. But I had just mastered, I just figured out how to do, I don't even remember what it was, but I was so proud. I just figured out how to put music in the background of the videos. And I was so proud of myself. And now it's just a case of, clickety click, I do. So, for sure, this Chatter with Statter experience I have learned more about, I've learned so much I can't even remember what I didn't know, which is excellent. Although not good if I'm trying to teach somebody else, because sometimes it's good to know what you didn't know when you're trying to teach somebody, so you know what they don't know. I don't know if that even made sense, but Andre's coming in with perfection. Perfection is for yourself, not what you're doing. You're doing it out of love and respect from a space and caring community. True. That is true. And let's see here. Rick, you can help me. Let's see. If I make one fake YouTube account a day, I can add that to the YouTube account. Okay, I love the way you're thinking, Rick. Oh, heck yeah, I love the way you're thinking. Please don't do that. I don't know how many terms of service violations that idea might even be, but as much as I love manipulating the system, let's not do that. How about let's not do that? How about we just try to eke our way into YouTube and Twitch followers the natural way, which is slowly but surely people deciding they can put up with my mouth for an hour and a half twice a week. And, you know, speaking of putting up with my mouth hour and a half twice a week, we have got a show coming up in Renton on August 19th. I will not be talking for an hour and a half. The show might even go longer than an hour and a half. Why? Because we're going to have 3 comedians, Augie T, James Monet, and Andy Bumatai, all of whom are headliners in their own right. Triple header comedy show, Renton, Washington at the Carco Theater. I'm going to be the MC. And so if you want to see just a little bit of me and a whole lot of funny people, whole lot of funny men, whole lot of comedians that'll make you go, tee-hee-hee, hee-hee-hee, ha-ha-ha. That's where you want to be. You want to be at the Carco Theater, August 19th. Now, if you are not in the Pacific Northwest area, but you're more on the West Coast area, and you're thinking, how about some California, babe? What's up with California? Did you forget about California? We did not forget about California. Okay, Augie might have, because Augie's not going to be there. But Andy and James, San Francisco, Sacramento, August 24th, August 26th. That is right. I am going to be hosting those shows as well. But once again, the show's not going to be about me. It's going to be about Andy and James because they funny people. And so if you want to come get your giggle on, I suggest Lion's Den in San Francisco. Full-on Chinatown action. Couldn't be more Chinatown, let me tell you. Google it. You find out just how Chinatown Lion's Den is. It is. Chinatown. And if Chinatown is not your flavor, you're more of a Hilton type. Yes. Sacramento's where it's at, baby doll. Sacramento, Embassy Suites Hilton, Riverfront. That's right, we've got the main ballroom. We're gonna fill it up and we're gonna make you laugh. Okay, maybe we'll just make you giggle. But either way, I'm gonna be hosting, Andy's gonna be comedying, James is gonna be comedying, and Augie, well, he's gonna be back in Hawaii, so he might be comedying too, but not in Sacramento. And so, Andre, you can't make it to the San Francisco show, but you got Renton and Sacramento. Oh, are you flying in for the Renton show? Holy flirking snit. I have a feeling the Renton show and the Sacramento show are just going to be big old family reunions for the Hamajan Gang and the Statterbox crew. Awesome. That is super cool. And Pussycat, is TikTok still a thing? I've never been on TikTok. I do not have the TikTok app, but judging from my Twitter feed and my Facebook feed, indeedy, TikTok is still a thing. And yeah, that's right. I called it Twitter because I don't want to call it X because it's stupid. I don't like the interface that X has changed. I normally like dark backgrounds, but my X app is all dark. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I might have to quit X because I just don't like it anymore. And what I really don't like anymore about it is it ruined one of my jokes that I've been trying to work on about how old people don't know about Twitch. And I actually really did have this conversation with somebody once. This isn't the joke. I'm trying to make a joke out of it. But for real, I was telling a friend of mine who's like 20 years younger than me. But she's got kids, right? So I was telling a friend of mine, I was like, hey, I've got this live stream. It's on Twitch. Now, her kid is in the room with us as I'm telling her this. Hey, I've got this live stream. It's on Twitch. She looks at me, 100% serious. Don't you mean Twitter? Her teenage kid from across the room just gave the most glaring, horrified, I could kill you with a look right now, Mom, look. And then they looked at me like, I'm so sorry she's so dumb. And then she just went back to her cell phone, shaking her head, embarrassed to be the child of the woman who thought that Twitch was Twitter. And I had to laugh because that was funny. Someone younger than me didn't even know what Twitch was. Don't you mean Twitter? And so I'm trying to write a joke about that, right? Well, now I can't because Twitter's no longer Twitter, it's X. And it just doesn't flow the same way, So my life is difficult, except for when it's not. And I dare say right now, my life is not difficult. In fact, my life is about as opposite of difficult as can be. And Chuck, yeah, just call it Twitter. I know, I was kind of thinking that. It's like, oh, for the sake of the joke, I might just keep it Twitter. Because when it happened, it was still Twitter. And so what sound does an X make when you get it? I don't know, Andre. I don't know. Yeah, that was a beautiful face, wasn't it? That should be my headshot. Exactly, Pussycat. I'm gonna have to X that joke. Right, it's X Twitter. Exactly. Hey. I might have to steal that. X Twitter, yes. And yeah, exactly, Shock. Lots of people are still calling it Twitter, and Elon can go hang for all they care. Exactly. And yes, exactly, Darlene, for the joke, keep the Twitter. Okay, okay, first off, I don't really know if it's ever going to turn into a joke because it's a little verbose. I have to paint the scene a little too much. I kind of want to make it a little zingier, but it really was funny. I mean, when teenagers are just horrified by their parents, that was that moment. You know, don't you mean Twitter? Mom. Oh, yeah, she just couldn't have been more horrified. So let's see here. That service formerly known as Twitter. Okay, I like that. And now, and okay, so you know how Prince, during the artist formerly known as Prince era, when that happened, and he was known as that symbol, so it was the artist formerly known as, well, instead of the Prince symbol, the Twitter symbol is now X, so it's the channel formerly known as Twitter. And, well, it's still actually known as Twitter. That is true, too. But, I mean, Prince was still actually known as Prince, too. So, let's see here. Andre, the symbol needs to be a bird with an X on top of it. For X Twitter, that is true. And so, let's see here. This is an experiment. Experiment. It's an experiment. And, hold on. So, okay, Eileen. There's a reason why I just called you Eileen. Okay, Elaine, you could lean in to the joke as @OneTwitter. That's why I called you Eileen. I was reading Eileen or lean in. That's a good idea too. Yeah, I'll have to work on framing that. On that joke. And let's see here. Who is it was talking? We've got the Rick. Okay, you were listening to. Oh wait, no, you were listening to a radio station. But wait, I read something. So it sounds like the Sacramento show is being advertised on radio. That is awesome. Honestly, the Renton show might be being advertised on radio as well, but I don't listen to the radio. So I have no idea. And Shock, what's a blue sky invite? I mean, I know what an invite, you got an invitation to Blue Sky, I'm assuming, but what is Blue Sky? I'm going to assume Blue Sky is a new service that's trying to take place of Twitter. But yeah, who or what is Blue Sky? And secondary question, is Blue Sky a Zuckerberg production? Because if Blue Sky's a Zuckerberg production, I really don't feel like hopping on that ship either. So let's see here. Andre, no, this Twitter is just resting. That's a little obscure, but that's funny. And oh, he did it because of his little company called SpaceX. Yeah, probably he did, but I still don't like it. Oh, Blue Sky's not owned. It's not a Zuckerberg production. Oh, well, then I might consider considering it. I don't know, though. Who's on it? Are the anarchists on it? That's the only reason why I'm on Twitter to begin with, was because all my communist anarchist groups are on it. I'm not a communist, I'm not an anarchist, but I sure like to see what they're all up to. That's what I'm telling you. Because here's the deal. If you know what the anarchists and the communists are up to, you pretty much know what the right wing is up to as well, because they keep an eye on the right wing. And I knew, because of all of my Twitter connections with the anarchist communist communities, I knew months before January 6th, January 6th, months before that happened, I knew what was going to happen. Everybody in that circle knew what was going to happen. And that's why there were no left-wing people on the Capitol that day. there could have been counter-protesters like nobody's business, but all of the anarchists, the communists, the anti-fascists, etc., they knew well enough to stay away because they were watching what the right wing was planning on doing, and they wanted no part of it. They didn't want to be within a 20-mile radius to be even closely blamed for it. They wanted nothing to do with it. They knew there was going to be violence. They didn't want to be part of the violence. They saw it coming a mile away. I did too. I don't know how the rest of the country didn't see it coming a mile away, because it was pretty obvious months in advance. And that, my friends, is why I like to hang out on Twitter and follow the anarchists and the communists, because they keep an eye on people who are trying to overthrow our government. I know, it seems weird. Anarchists, communists, wait, aren't they the ones trying to overthrow the government? Hard to say, we won't get into that, but they're not the ones that stormed the Capitol on January 6th. And you're right, exactly, Andre, and yet they still tried to blame them, precisely, which they knew they would, which is why a concerted effort, starting in September, before January, like months before January 6th, going in September, the word was out in the left-wing communities, don't go to DC on January 6th. Do not go to DC in January. Do not. Because they knew that there was going to be rumbles in the jungle. Even before the election was done, they had already decided we are not doing anything with the transfer of power on that whole blah, blah, blah. No. So let's see here. Elaine is hoping there's a barbecue. And I don't like that at all. So, yeah, Elaine, I hope it's a barbecue too, because we already know what brush fires can do on the islands. And, yes, Verity, some of those guys are in jail. Shock. Some. Lots. Yes, plenty. How about that? Plenty are in jail, and some are waiting to go to jail. So, you're right, Pussycat, we are in overtime. See, Pussycat, I hope that you're wearing black and white striped shirt, and I hope you've got a whistle. Being all referee. Overtime, 2-minute penalty, reverse. We need to wrap it up. So there you have it, Rabbit. We're gonna wrap it up, and hopefully, by the time this stream is over, all of the bad things that we talked about earlier on the first part of the stream have been put out, and there's no more fires any places. But I guess we're gonna find out. All right, we've got less than a half an hour between the end of this stream and the beginning of Daily Pigeon Live. If you need your ice cream for Fake Ice Cream Wednesday, grab it. Andy and James won't be eating their ice creams, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to. All right then. We will see each other on Saturday for Satterbox at the cinema. I'm not quite sure what we'll be watching yet, but I'll probably, well, I don't know what we'll be watching, so I can't promise nothing. But I've got plenty movies as options, so we will be watching something. Anyway, Jess Scuzzy, 10 bits, dude, super stoked. And I think, if I remember correctly, Jess Scuzzy is going to be at the Renton show August 19th. And so we will see him there. And Pussycat coming in with, it's the final countdown. It's time to stop. And exactly, Just Scuzzy, we totally talked about that at the beginning part of it was an unhappy thing. And so, but I am going to say, ending on a happy note, thank you so much, Andre, for that gift sub to Denise, I think is how you say that. And yes, you will meet me, Just Scuzzy, and I will meet you, and we will have a big old family reunion. All right. Shock, you thought that was a field goal sign? I don't know what it is. I don't care what it is. He's telling me it's time to wrap it up, and he happens to be right. So, exit stage left. Okay, there we go. Check you later, y'all. Have yourselves a good one.